Season 1 was like the ship at the start of this episode. They didn't like it, so they sunk it. Then they sent out a salvage team to hopefully get any of the good bits. And apparently Season 2 is going to be better.
To quote Christopher Walken in Batman Returns, yawn.
I think you'll like this episode if you like Daredevil punching something at the very beginning and the very end of the episode.
In both fights, he has like a curb stomp, straight spine. Gah! And I was like, okay, they've made him more aggressive, I guess.
He yells a lot more for sure.
Yeah. Like, he's getting up there in the years, I suppose. I was curious because now this is the same team. We aren't trying to, like, Frankenstein other episodes because we felt the last season was a lot of, like, problem of the week stuff that's now trying to be forced into, like, a overall arc story.
Yeah, everything with, like, Vanessa and anything she ever did, all brand new, all made up.
Exactly. So then with this, it's like, okay, this is what they want it to be. They want it to be a, like, even the original Netflix run was still like a new problem every week. With this, it feels like, no, we want to like an overarching kind of story here.
Yeah, this episode doesn't really have a problem or like anything for the characters to do. I think that's why it comes across as a yawn, because what they're doing is they're setting up the status quo, which is fair enough, except the status quo is identical to what we did at the end of last season. Basically, they just spent 50 minutes retelling us that everyone is doing the exact same thing they were doing at the end of last season.
There's one or two interesting moments or elements, I suppose. Marco must have been thrilled that it opens on a BB report. I'm sure he was so happy to get an update on the BB.
But I think they actually almost did something interesting with the BB report, how if you're not paying attention in the first one, which I wasn't because you focused on the person talking, saying, wow, New York's so great, you're ignoring the fuck Fisk sign behind him. And I'm like, that's actually kind of clever that like, because they make it out for the first almost half the episode that the entire city is on board, crime's down, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's pretty stupid because this unintentionally heavily mirrors the ICE stuff going on over in America because this was written like just before it.
But that kind of lines up well.
Yeah, it's one of those whole like, oh, history repeating itself and all that fun stuff. People are obviously outraged. Like there's definitely two sides to that over there. So I was a bit annoyed to start with that they were just focusing on like, wow, it's so good now. But then they do actually pivot it to a lot of people aren't so happy. I think people should be less happy because like they're walking into restaurants and beating down on women.
Because Fisk seems to run the city. It's that whole vibe of like everyone's in Fisk's pocket.
Yeah.
Don't stress about it.
You have to not think about it because that's a lot. Like the people closest to him are seemingly the only people with doubts. Like Michael Gandolfini, his press secretary also seems like a good person that kind of is somehow not privy to what he's actually doing. Like the dumbest people seem to be the people right next to him, except Buck, who is completely illicit in all of this. And I kind of forgot Buck existed because he's such a nothing.
English guy, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's such a nothing
it's
jobber.
It's Wesley.
But shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's Wesley without all the minutiae and personality.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because Wesley actually felt like a real person, had a genuine relationship with Fisk, where this guy's just, you're right, he's a jobber.
That's the thing. They bothered to go into it, and that was why it was like, when he died, for a second, you're like, oh no.
He was Fisk's fogger, yeah.
Yeah, and that was why it's like, oh, it upped the stakes, because now he's actually angry. Buck could die, and he would just get some other random to do it for him. Like, nothing matters. To say something positive, Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are still fantastic.
Yeah.
But they're barely in it.
Isn't that like just a given at this point?
It is. But like that's what's weird, that they're not in this episode because we have so many damn characters.
I did like his touch of his eye quivering where Matthew Lillard's character annoys him at dinner. You know, the way that Fisk is, that he's always just a hairpin away from just flipping the table and crushing your head.
I did actually feel that again. That was something season 1 was missing.
Yeah.
It was basically they made Fisk into a bitch.
Yeah.
But this episode, he actually did feel like he had that Homelander, he'll kill you. Especially because Matthew Lillard's meant to be this high up in the CIA. He's a fixer, I guess, is what we're going with. Fisk is still willing to just be like, you're disrespecting me, shut up. Like, stop that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's cool. But again, Fisk gets 2 scenes where he talks. Matt gets 2.5 maybe, and the rest is us going, hey, remember Cherry? Hey, remember Gandolfini? Hey, remember BB? Hey, remember random hawk dude, the Vulture, basically, from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, just like a douchebag guy.
Was he in towards the end?
He was against Ayala. He was against the White Tiger in that case.
Yeah, right.
So he is from the other one. I don't give a fuck what he's doing. The swordsman is here and doing way more than I thought the swordsman would do.
We didn't see the cop from the bank heist who had a meeting with Fisk 2 episodes ago or an episode ago is not here.
I did expect them to forget more of season 1. They'd be like, brush more of it under the rug. But again, we've shown everyone. Ayala's daughter, like Little White Tiger, who is going to become a young Avenger at some point, probably, she gets highlighted in the previously on. It's just a cacophony of characters.
Right.
And it makes me think it's not going to be a good season because of how many people we have. We have too many people. I didn't even mention Karen. We have Karen too.
We do. And Matt's ex-girlfriend therapist is now working for Fisk.
Yep.
And she is
evil,
interviewing them in probably his container city, where it's all legal.
Yeah.
And he's basically saying, oh, we're going to take you to court, but I've got to, if you don't answer me properly, I'm going to have someone beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, she's legitimately evil now. There was no evolution in season 1 of her doing that. She was just like, for some reason, she was a bitch from the start. I'm sorry, but she did suck. And she gaslit Matt into thinking that she saved herself. And then she's not only my least favorite character, and I don't enjoy anything she's doing, and she's an insane person now, but she's also doing my least favorite trope, PTSD, because it sucks. I hate it. She's evil now, and she's like getting flashbacks of Muse from like 1 episode.
Well, you did.
I know it was traumatic, but like,
and it's what's it going to change? She's already kind of corrupt because she's like taking any answer going, anti-authority.
Yeah.
But then she gets the phone call going, make it more corrupt and horrible, please.
Yeah, from the other evil guy.
She's rubbing out her little tick if insane pencil.
I did have the thought halfway through the episode when that was happening. I'm like, everyone's kind of comically evil this season.
Yeah, there's no real depth sort of there, is there? I
feel like there was a groundedness to the evil in season 1, 2, and 3 where it's like money or power or something like that. Whereas here, why is Heather doing this? Just because she's evil now?
And then obviously BB is meeting up with Karen, and I think we can probably guess that the anti-BB report is BB just doing it herself.
Yeah.
She's there going, fuck BB report and subscribe to Bergenbeard. We don't like the BB report, and so the idea that BB doesn't even like the BB report now is kind of funny. But it's meant to be because she's playing because Fisk wants his fingers in all the levels of control. So yeah, we get the social media on side as well.
But if she is doing both, it definitely feels like she's doing more harm than she's counteracting.
Yeah, right. My issue is, it's like what, the 5th season of Daredevil, and it's we got to get Fisk. I'm over the we got to get Fisk angle. I know he's a great character. I know this, but if you gave me 5 seasons of Batman versus Joker, I'm going to get tired. We've got other rogues to play with.
That was the main problem with season 1. It didn't evolve these characters. It reset them back to their base levels and then was like, by the end of the season, they're going to be themselves again.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not what I want to watch a show for. It's like the starter prototype. I'm sick as hell. And then they nerf me. And now I'm like, what the hell? I don't want to watch these characters do the exact same thing that they've already done. Because, what's to stop Matt doing what he did in season 3, which is walking in and beating the hell out of everyone?
There's a few questions I've got, because, Fisk knows that Matt is Daredevil.
Yes.
Has not told anyone else.
Yes.
Has not told his task force, I know it's crazy, but it's the blind guy.
And for no reason. We don't know why. Because we found out that he knew in, the finale of last season.
Couldn't he just go get Matt Murdock?
Yeah.
But take 40 people.
But why? But he's in hiding now.
Yeah, he's in hiding at Josie's bar. And you don't think he would have just went, how about we just pancake it just to be sure?
Yeah. Just check it out, maybe.
Just check it out.
Also, it was behind a door and there's a hole in the wall. I didn't really understand that, but whatever. But it's more of last season so far and not more of the stuff that I actually think I liked. Because I don't think there's going to be any courtroom stuff this season because, Matt's... we're past the point of Matt just being able to walk into a courtroom unless Fisk goes down because they would have to lift the anti-vigilante ban to allow Karen to, walk around. Karen's doing her best Olivia Wilde in Tron.
Wearing different hair.
She's just a little bob.
It's interesting because now she's working with BB and she was close to Ben for a few episodes in season 1, 11 years ago.
I do like that they're doing that though because...
linking in the old season
and also least. Matt and Karen are together now. It's a result of them not having to Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Karen and Matt can actually share a real scene instead of being a weird intercut in a back parking lot.
They weren't even originally a part of season 1, Karen and Foggy. Whatever that original version of this show was meant to be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see it. it, like just out of interest? Like, what were they doing? Because it sounds to me it was just meant to be goofy problems of the week with Daredevil. I think
almost entirely, as far as I can tell. But the main guy was concerned, so he brought in the new guy. They do talk a little bit about in the podcast that is on Disney Plus, but also it's a Disney Plus released podcast.
So they're going to make it nice.
Yeah. In fairness, they do like skirt it quite well. So they give you a little bit, but they're always like polite. They're like, oh, we didn't think it was working, instead of like, we fucking hated it.
Yeah.
So they're good on that. So I think it's worth a watch in that regard.
Right.
Because it's kind of interesting. Skip the fan mail section. That's just some bullshit. But they do talk about how they wanted it to feel more like Netflix Daredevil, and I don't think they've replicated that at all.
I don't know if it's just the cameras, the modern tech, or just what is being rented.
It just looks and feels different.
Looks and feels different, yeah.
They are doing some weird stuff with the cinematography. Like, I thought they were doing something cool in the very intro where it's like the full top down of the bridge and the boat. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
They do the hearing thing still, which you were a bit iffy on. I do like it.
I liked it more in this one, but I still think it takes too long. Like, he almost dies at the end of this episode because he hears Cherry's heartbeat, and we spend like 10 seconds of him going, is Cherry alive? Like, dude, just ask Cherry if he's feeling okay.
Do you give a shit about Cherry?
No one does. That's why I have a problem with so many characters. And it's my thing with every show. No one gets any screen time. Although, in fairness, or like in a nice thing to the show, I cared more about Cherry and Mulligan in this episode than I did in all of last season.
Yeah, because they're being written and shot properly. So I'll give the show that. I feel like I'm watching a consistent thing there. Like the dialogue and everything is working together. It's not they're not Frankensteining. I did like Matthew Lillard's establishment. He partly feels like he's coming in from a different show, but I did enjoy the playfulness. I do like him as an actor, and he caught my interest in the 3 scenes, but the 2 major scenes he's in, I was paying attention more. I thought he was more interesting because he's the wild card, if you will.
Yeah, and especially because both of those are spent with Fisk.
Yeah.
And like Fisk is actually doing something.
I was a bit disappointed here. It's like, the people I work for. I'm like, another one of those, like another mysterious cabal that Fisk is having to answer to, like, or something.
But it's also they're working for Fisk, kind of, because like he turns that other guy around. Because Fisk cannot do this. Like, as mayor of New York, you cannot turn all the lights off at 8 p.m. and say, like, I'm going to break into your house and kill you.
But also, you're in this hyper-realised world. But it is odd because the tankard's there, right, stuck in the river.
Yes.
So why is it that, I guess because New York's on lockdown, but I'm here going, so in this Avenger world why can't the Avengers turn up and help? Or, I mean, he's got New York on lockdown, who's in fucking New York? Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Well, are you going to lock him down? Like, I mean, it's one of those things that you have to ignore.
But we can actually talk about it because, like, Punisher's about to be in Spidey.
And I can only assume that Bruce Banner's in New York. You think they'd have them on lockdown straight away, but it's just one of those things that you have to ignore because the whole time you go, surely Spider-Man would be the number one guy to get in this situation.
But that's what I think is kind of stupid because seasons 1, 2, and 3 handled that well enough. Even though Spider-Man wasn't a thing at that point, they handled it well enough that the Avengers would never get involved because it was all
Hell's
underground.
Kitchen based.
Yeah, it was small in New York, but also underground, secretive. Like, it was a cabal of evil people doing secretive stuff, not the mayor of New York shooting people in the street.
The Avengers are fighting aliens coming out of a portal. They're not
they're busy.
They're not drug crime, so does it make sense?
Which is why the Defenders was able to act as a show, whereas here, we're about to have Spider-Man a month later in the exact same universe, fighting tanks in the street of New York. Maybe it's gonna have to somewhat link.
If I have to imagine, if they're worried about that the end of season 2 is, and you'll get some loop line of, now the vigilante ban has been calmed down. Spider-Man's been more active. I don't know.
Yeah, and they're going to use the Punisher hour episode to like tie it in. It's going to be weird. But I think that's another problem I have with the show is they chose to make it this big grand story. Yeah. Seemingly in the original season 1, it was going to be courtroom dramas. The Avengers wouldn't fucking do anything about like the White Tiger getting arrested. Doctor Strange isn't going to come out and be like, I'll save the day. Like that made sense. Whereas here, they've gone too big. I did watch a couple of reviews of people that have gotten the whole show. They've already watched all 8 episodes, including IGN. Disney did not pay IGN enough money this time because IGN gave it a 7. But even like I watched some show tubers that like they're like, come on, we love that.
Sent to the events
they're like, it's good, but it's the worst of the seasons, as including
last season
and 1, 2, and 3. And like season 2 is half the hand.
Daredevil truly, as a character, suits Problem of the Week. Yeah. And I do think if you did that well, it would be awesome.
The head of Marvel TV in the podcast says they wanted to not do that.
It's what? Because he truly is built for it.
Yeah.
Like, he's a lawyer who can go out and do the crime solving and then take it into the courtroom. So
yeah.
You get it simply is. Maybe it ranges from what's important, but having no mention of Catholicism is kind of weird.
I did think that was odd.
I know it's only 1 hour, but the idea that he's not sneaking off the church.
But it's so core.
Hiding in the church.
Grabbing a necklace. Yeah, like, it's so core to his character, and it's nowhere in sight.
Yeah.
What is in sight is Karen's Kung Fu.
Ip Man, Bruce Lee, Tony Ferguson, like, movement, which
I'm personally okay with. I think it's funny that they showed it. If she doesn't get into a fight, I'm like, that's funny. Funnier, because like, why bother? But it's been 10 years, and also she's on the run, so Matt would be like, I'm gonna teach you.
And Foggy's
something.
in this, in flashbacks, or?
There is a flashback episode, yes. I've been alerted to there is a flashback episode, my dreaded in the middle of a season to pad it out. Oh, and Kristen Ritter will rock up halfway through as well. So if you thought we have too many characters currently, what if we had another one?
Yeah, so what is... Obviously, the other thing is that when Daredevil goes to get Cherry, and Cherry's being attacked because they're looking into finding one of the 2 guys who jumped off the boat.
Yep.
So they're trying to find them in a very ice allegory type way. Poor old Matt is so stressed about his best good pal Cherry's heart. So he gets distracted, and then these 2 cops, they get the upper hand of him, and they pull off his mask and they go, it's Murdoch. And then poof, they get bullseyed. These 2 guys get shot with 1 bullet through the eyes. Bullseyed.
I can see people going, whoa! And like, it's always cool to see Bullseye.
It would have been cool if we hadn't seen Bullseye last season. Like, this is the first time we're getting a hint of Bullseye. It might have been pretty cool.
I guess the you're welcome is like, oh, he's the loose cannon. He's the wild card.
It's grated in, so then Matt can at least read it, I guess, because he can, like, feel it.
I didn't think about that at all. That was just for us. God damn it. Marco's laughing off screen because that is stupid.
Well, in the comics, Matt can put he's got such sensitive skin that he can put his hand over a book and feel the ink impressions. But in this, I was like, oh, maybe his echolocation or radar sense can pick up on the...
They have not made it clear enough.
This is what we were saying all the way last year, is that Bullseye, with his skills, should be killing people from 2 kilometers away.
Yeah.
So I don't know why Bullseye knew that he would be there. But whatever.
He's following him, I guess.
I'm sure to be explained.
Daredevil also responded really quickly to the warning text. And Daredevil was like, I guess downstairs. Because Daredevil can swing from buildings now because he's got the new billy clubs. But he's still relatively a guy.
He's not Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The most agile he's ever been was She-Hulk.
Yes.
Like, that was his most, like, closest to how wild he can get in the comics.
Yeah.
They certainly have struggled with him because in the books he is... presented quite acrobatically.
I would love a little scene where they go into his powers a bit more, because we haven't done the World on Fire in a while.
We never do it. I'd love to see more of it.
Well, that's one of my favorite things about Batflix. Like,
oh yeah, you see the sonar vision all the time in that. Yeah.
And the idea that he has to tap something, because in this version of Daredevil, is him on a cargo ship a good thing because of the engine noise vibrating everything? Can he see real good? Or is he overwhelmed by all noise?
It's not that he can focus in, it's that he can filter out. Everything's hitting him all at once, and his skill is that he can filter.
And it sometimes takes him a while to listen for a watch.
I think Psylocke in the comics takes control of his mind, and she actually loses her mind because she realises just how much information he's having to filter out on the moment to moment. So, I mean, that's pretty cool.
They did do the cool thing how the bullet goes through the fake plywood wall, and he follows that. So it was like a cue for us, but he knew it because it sounded like wood instead of metal ricochet, I guess. But then he walks into the room and he instantly knows it's full of weapons. And then he like opens it. I don't know. I just enjoy when Ben Affleck would like tap something.
I did like that touch in the movie that they added more echolocation sonar because it was more rooted in how blind people actually operate in the world.
Yeah, and it gives us an idea of his powers. Because like Spider-Man, you do Spidey sense by doing the Sam Raimi like show the fly, show this, show this. I think I'm mainly annoyed that he takes 10 seconds to listen for a heartbeat. That's
so he put the watch in the crate so we
can find it later.
But we never did manage that, did he?
That was my. I was like, oh, so that he can hear it somewhere.
Was it in Daredevil season 1 where he's tracking the car by following the music and he's like parkouring across the building?
Yeah, whereas this is a watch. Like if he goes to a warehouse and there's anyone else wearing a watch, is he going to be like, no, okay, just a watch? Like,
it's the wrong type of watch sound. I think overall I wouldn't have minded like a 2-episode drop, to be honest, because I thought this was just pretty dull, and I know people will be happy with this. It's more Daredevil, be happy with what you've got. But even for me, obviously I know it's only episode 1, but I think there's a lineage that Daredevil has like some good fight scenes, and these two for me weren't that interesting or shot or edited particularly well. I did laugh at the, when in doubt, put your hero around a lot of shipping containers. Like we did this back in season 1. Batman Begins has done it. It just seems to be the default.
It's super cheap.
It's cheap, and your hero can bounce around on things, but they didn't even do much of it. Like it wasn't a cool opening sequence of fight, I thought. And in terms of re-establishing him as a force, it's like he's punch kick guy. Like
it's Matt versus goons.
Yeah, right.
Like season 2 upped it by doing ninjas.
Yeah.
Season 3 upped it again. How did season 3 up it again? Oh, they fucked him up.
Yeah, they went Born Again.
Yeah.
Well.
But yeah, so I agree. It's pretty lackluster. I don't think I would. I think you gave it a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, like an abstract, like based on a criteria that I change depending on the show. Yeah, it was certainly a below average effort. I felt of like if I wasn't reviewing it, I'd be like, I don't feel the need to come back next week.
I reckon if I started next week and didn't realize this was week 1, you wouldn't even know.
Because we're dealing with similar themes, similar ideas, similar everything. It's why it feels less like we haven't progressed. Like even I think we're talking about visuals. Season 1 and season 2 are kind of dripping with that like neo-noir visual. Like when he's in his apartment, you've got the Blade Runner-esque purple LED flooding in, like, and the rain, like all that stuff that kind of helps that like you're in the dirt hole of the city. And this doesn't have that. It just has grey filter.
Yes. And they do a lot of zooms, which I don't love.
And my thing is that you're dealing with the same ideas we've been dealing with for 10 years now. So it's a bit dull. Like if I want to see Matt Murdock take on Kingpin, I'll watch season 1 because season 1 is some of the best superhero stuff you can do.
Yeah, I think the season will vastly improve when Kristen Ritter rocks up, but I don't think she's rocking up till halfway through the season. I'm holding hopes that maybe Bullseye brings a bit of fire to the season.
I'm hoping for that too. Like exactly what does he want? Like what's he trying to aim for? Like he wants back at the Fisks because they fucked him over again.
Again, like they did it twice. It's very weird.
But once again, why is this hard? If you're a mutant level problem that you could kill someone by like ricocheting a knife off, just go kill Fisk.
We'll see if they come up with anything. But until then, it's not Born Again. It's
bored again for me.
We already used that one.
We already said bored again.
In season 1, when he was going to therapy, we used that one.